Hello and welcome to my channel We Learn by Sharun. I am Shraddha Banode and in today's session we are going to learn phasor diagrams for synchronous generator or alternator. Alternators are of two types, cylindrical and salient pole. In today's session we are going to learn how to draw phasor diagram for cylindrical pole alternator. Before drawing the phasor diagram, let's see few of the terms we are going to use in the phasor diagram. E is the excitation voltage, V is the terminal voltage, IA is the armature current, phi is the phase angle between V and IA, psi is the angle between E and IA, so delta is the angle between E and V. When you draw phasor diagram, you need to consider a load, nature of load. Accordingly, you need to draw the phasor diagram. So first we will consider inductive load, that is for lagging power factor. So we will draw V as reference. Whenever we draw phasor diagram for such machines, we draw V as reference. In voltage equation, induced EMF E comes out to be equals to terminal voltage V plus the drops. So we will first of all take V as reference. We will add drops into it and then we will get the induced EMF E. So first step is to draw terminal voltage V. Second step is to draw the current. Direction of current will be with respect to load, because in this phasor diagram the load is inductive, lagging power factor, the current will be lagging in nature. So I'll draw a current which is lagging in nature with respect to V by the phase angle phi. Now next is to draw IARA. Where I should draw IARA? IARA should be starting from V because we are going to add IARA to V. But because this is the current flowing through resistance, it should be in phase with IA. So I'll draw IARA exactly in parallel with I, so that, and it will start from V like this. The next step is to draw IAXL. So IX will be reactive voltage drop and it will always be in 90-degree phase difference with I. Okay, so we know that current is lagging for inductive. So I'll draw IAXL and IAXL like this. Now here it is having 90 degree. It is having 90 degree with IRA, means it is having 90 degree with I. So I'm drawing it from here, from this point, but it is exactly 90 degree to the phasor I. Right. Now this is what is the EMF induced. Now why I asked you to draw IXL here and IXA here, because you know that E naught is the induced EMF at no load, which is equals to E plus IXA. That equation is satisfied here. And E is the load induced EMF, which is equals to V plus IRA plus IXL. So that equation is satisfied here. So whenever you draw phasor diagram, you first draw IXL from IRA. So this gives you E. And then you add IXA, which gives you E naught, that is no load induced EMF. So let's show the angle also. So this delta is the angle between V and E naught, while phi is the angle between V and I. Phi is the angle between E naught and I. So ultimately delta plus phi is equals to psi here. This is very easy to draw the phasor diagram for inductive load. If you understood this, then let's draw for the next part, which is unity power factor, that is resistive load. Almost the steps will be same. Phasor diagram is always the relation between two phasors and it is always drawn as compared to each other. Again we will draw V as reference here, and the next step is to draw current IA. So because this is resistive load, current IA will be in phase with V. So I'll draw it. So this is IA. IA will be always in phase with V, exactly as I have drawn here. And next step is to draw IARA. So IARA will be in phase with I, but it will start from V. So it will continue here. In the same line, you will have IARA. So like this, you will draw IARA, right? Next step is to draw IXL. So IXL, IXA combinedly gives you IXS, right? So 90 degree to I, but we will start from IRA. So it is exactly 90 degree here, and you will have IXL first and then IXA combinedly gives you IXS. Drawing the EMFs here, induced EMFs here. So you know that V plus IRA plus IXL gives you load induced EMF E. Load induced EMF E plus IXA gives you E naught, that is no load induced EMF. Right, so this is how phasor diagram can be completed, giving angle delta. Delta is the angle between V and E naught. Here, because this is resistive load, the angle between V and I will be 0, that is phi will be 0, and angle between E naught and V will be equals to delta. Here psi will be equals to delta itself because phi is 0. Then next we will go for leading power factor, that is capacitive load. And for capacitive load also we will draw reference as V. Next step is to draw I. I will be leading V by angle phi. So here you can draw small angle, but I'll show at least this much angle I, which is leading V by angle phi. Right. Now next step is to draw IARA. IARA will be again in phase with I, but it will start from V. So it will be parallel to I, but it will start from V. You always keep in mind, I also explained you in my last video that IRA drop is very small because RA is practically very small, and hence IRA also drop is also very small. So when you draw the phasor diagram, you have to keep this thing in mind and draw really small IRA as compared to other phasors. As compared to reactance vector, IRA drop will be very small. So this is IAXL and this is IAXA combinedly called as IAXS. So let's draw the EMF equation. Again, V plus IARA plus IXL will give you in a load induced EMF E. Load induced EMF E plus IXA will give you no load induced EMF E naught. Angle between E naught and V is given by delta, and angle between E naught and I will be given by psi. So here psi will be equals to the difference between the two, that is phi minus delta, right? So it is difference between two. Psi is always the angle between I and E naught. So for lagging you will find psi is equals to phi plus delta. For unity you will find that psi is equals to delta because phi is 0. But for capacitive load psi will be equals to the difference between phi and delta. So these are the three phasor diagrams explained in very easy language. I hope you will be able to draw phasor diagram for all three nature of loads, resistive, inductive and capacitive without any problem. If you still have any problem, if you have any confusion, you can write down in the comment box so that I can resolve your doubts in my next coming video. Voltage regulation, very important term. So let's see what is voltage regulation and why it is supposed to be find out. So we find out voltage regulation because ideally the terminal voltage should remain constant. Ideally the terminal voltage should not change, but practically it always change, and that is why we need to know by what quantity it is changing from no load to full load. So what is voltage regulation? Voltage regulation of an alternator is defined as change in terminal voltage from no load to full load, speed and field excitation being constant divided by full load voltage. Now voltage regulation can be find out percentage of full load voltage as well as no load voltage. I will tell you in my next slide what is the difference between two. But generally when we will calculate this voltage regulation, we will always calculate in terms of as a percentage of full load voltage. Okay. So when I want to write down the equation, percentage voltage regulation will be equals to E naught, which is the which is the voltage, terminal voltage at no load, minus V, which is the terminal voltage at full load, upon V, which is the terminal voltage at full load, into 100 will give you percentage regulation. Now, what is voltage regulation up and voltage regulation down? You will find in some problems you will be asked to find out voltage regulation up and voltage regulation down. So if you will find out percentage regulation as a percentage of full load voltage, it will be voltage regulation up. While if you will find out voltage regulation as a percentage of no load voltage, it will be voltage regulation down. So there is very simple concept to remember this particular thing, that when see no load value will be always greater because as far as resistive and inductive load is concerned, no load induced EMF will be always higher than the full load terminal voltage, because full load terminal voltage will be decreased because of drops. So whenever you have smaller value in the denominator, obviously your answer will be whenever you have smaller value in the denominator, you will be having a higher value as the answer. So lower value as the terminal voltage, regulation up you will be getting. And if you have higher value in the denominator, you will get higher. If you have higher value in the denominator, you will get lower answer. So that is why if you will use a no load voltage here, you will get answer as regulation down. So this is how you can remember regulation up, regulation down, and this is how you calculate for as a percentage of no load and full load voltage. In the problem, if they ask you to find out regulation up, regulation down, you need to use these two formulas. But if they ask you just to find out regulation, you will always find out regulation as a percentage of full load voltage. Clear? Great. So let's try to understand the nature of voltage regulation for different type of load. Change in terminal voltage depends upon armature current, that is Ia, as well as the nature of load or the power factor of load. As the current goes on increasing, obviously as the current increases, the drops also increases. As the drop increases, more and more difference in the terminal voltage will be there. Clear? From no load to full load. Similarly, it depends upon nature of load. If it is resistive, inductive, capacitive, accordingly the voltage regulation will be different. Also depends upon the power factor, right? So for we'll just see the simple diagram here. Here I am drawing a graph between terminal voltage and armature current Ia, and these are the nature of graphs. You will find that for a resistive load, for resistive load for resistive load, the terminal voltage is slightly drooping in nature. For lagging load, the terminal voltage is very much drooping in nature. But for leading load, the terminal voltage is higher than the induced EMF. This line is showing the constant induced EMF, and these three lines are nothing but the lagging, unity, and leading terminal voltage for various load. So if you have lagging load, the terminal voltage and the difference between terminal voltage and induced EMF is more, while for unity power factor the difference is less. But for leading power factor, you will find that there is the terminal voltage is increasing more than induced EMF, and hence for leading power factor you have percentage regulation always calculated as negative. So for capacitive load, your regulation should always be negative. Clear? So where you should find the voltage regulation, think about it that if this is the nature for lagging, unity, and this is the nature for leading, and if I want zero voltage regulation, just tell me in the comment box that at for what load you will find voltage regulation zero, whether it will be lagging, unity, or leading. And if your concepts about this are clear, you can like this video, share with the needed. There are possibilities that few people may not reach this video. So you can share the link of this video with them so that they can also see and learn the concept of phasor diagram and voltage regulation. In my next video, I'm going to take topic different methods of to find out voltage regulation, which is very important. Subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any of the upcoming videos on synchronous machines. Till then, thank you and happy learning.